Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of School Talk. Hi, I'm Nick DeLeo. An important time for seniors is just around the corner. Application season is upon us and seniors are either starting the process for college or adding those final details before submission. To help our seniors with some tips is guidance counselor Julie Sekelsky. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you. Welcome to School Talk.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's December, and as you and I both know, because I teach seniors and you're in the throes of it, it is college application time. So let's ask our first question of the day. What's the best way right now as we go into December, we're taping this in mid-December, for a student to be ready for the college application process?
So, I mean, as you said, we're really in the mix of it. Many students have applied already. So many students had early action deadlines. They might have already applied, but there's still plenty of time for students to apply for school's regular decision. So we get a lot of questions. Students feel like they're behind the 8 ball. There's plenty of time. So many schools do have January 1st, 5th, 15th deadlines. So it's coming up quickly. But, you know, the things that students need to be doing right now is certainly completing the application. If it's a SUNY application, a common application, direct application to colleges. So students need to know that they can submit their application even if the letters of recommendation or transcript haven't been requested yet. So that's important. A lot of students are hesitant about that. And then part two, one of the biggest parts is letting your counselor know where you're applying and when. So that way we can submit your transcript and letters of recommendation. We don't know until you tell us that you've applied somewhere. So that's an important piece. And you know, we have checklists in the guidance office. So if a student is unsure of what they should do next, both in the Google class of 2022, there's information posted, and also you can come to the guidance office. We can print that out for students and give it to them, and that way students will have a schedule of things they should be doing and when.
Just before, the control room, before we go to the next question, I think there's a side question that needs to be asked based on what you said. Do parents have access to this information through a Google Classroom? Is it solely for the students?
It's only for the students. Unless certainly the student can share it with their parent.
They should definitely.
But they should. And there is a lot of information also on the school website, which parents do have access to. So, it's not, we do try to get the information out there, and certainly we want to share it with the parents. It's just, Google Classroom is certainly an easy way for us to have that information available to students at all times.
So beyond the Google Classroom, our guidance department is busy all year, but what is it that the guidance counselors are doing to help seniors with their colleges or helping with careers right now?
So we actually started last spring. So we start meeting when we start to meet with our juniors, so this current year's seniors, when we met with them last spring to talk about this year's schedules, we also talk to them about the whole college application process. And we do some post-graduation planning nights. We have events starting early on. Right now, we actually today we've spent time in both sophomore and junior classrooms going over PSAT results. And with the junior classrooms that we've gone into, we're giving them college information as it is. So we're starting to give them a kind of a timeline that they can follow, information to access, and having them tap into Naviance, which is one of the tools that we use as far as starting to do college searches and things like that. For current seniors, we do have seniors who come in and say, I'm still just starting from scratch. What do I do? Certainly we will encourage them to use Naviance, but also, just having conversations with them. We are a very experienced department. We have been counselors for many years and provided a lot of guidance to students. Absolutely. So a lot of times if a student, says, hey, I'm interested in medical sciences or I'm interested in speech pathology, we can give them some schools that are still accepting applications that would be good fits for them. So, I think, and that's something that you might not find in Naviance. It's the human piece, and just that knowledge, like you said, that we have.
I think the human piece, but also the fact that all of us have gone through the whole college experience and beyond. So we bring our own personal experiences with this.
100%.
When I do my college essay unit with my seniors early in the year, this is one of the very things that I make sure that I stress to them. So I'll ask you the same question. Before, during, and of course after, should our students make college visits to see the campus live?
Absolutely. So I always use the analogy of buying a car.
Okay.
Right. So when you're buying a car, you're going to get the pamphlet, and it's going to show you all the shiny objects inside the car. It's going to show you everything about the car, but you don't know what the car feels like until you get behind the wheel and you test drive it. So it's the same thing with a college visit. Now I understand. College visits can be expensive, all right, and it's sometimes difficult for parents to find the time, but all colleges now have virtual visits that you can do.
Really?
Okay. Yes. So if you can go on the school website, you can do a virtual visit.
Okay.
The reps are meeting with students virtually and in person.
Okay.
I want to say we had over 75 reps come in earlier in the fall for small meetings with students. We've also had our college fair. So there are many opportunities for students to get a feel of the campus, even if they haven't stepped foot on campus. And reps know, it's a challenge. So certainly we do have students who apply to colleges who haven't stepped on campus yet. The good thing is you have until May 1st to make your decision. So once students have received their decisions, then they really need to go on campus, because this is a place you're going to be spending 4 years. So you need to get a feel, what's the campus all about? It's more than just the education, And
I'm in full agreement, because I've often spoken to mine, and we'll just keep it very general, there's a local school that has a definite vibe to it. And if that, college comes up, I always say, listen, just make sure you go and do that.
Absolutely.
But sit and see what it feels like.
See what it feels like.
The college and the town itself. And I don't know if you do it, I also say go during the week and go on a weekend as well, because that's a whole different thing too.
Absolutely. And certainly, sometimes my own older children, we did summer visits because that's when I'm off and that's when I had time available.
Right.
But then, we narrowed it down to the couple of schools that they were really interested in and did make time to do a fall visit. And schools will also have accepted students days in the springtime. And so they are visits for students who have been accepted to the school. And usually they are more focused. Usually you get to speak with maybe professors in the department that you might be interested in studying.
That's great.
You get to go into dorms. You get to really see what the campus is before you make your decision.
I kid with my seniors often, and it's always my lead in, that someone years ago said to them, what do you want to be when you grow up? And now all of a sudden, that's here, and they have to make that decision. And I would say 50% of my students really know what they want, but what do you say as a guidance counselor, as a guidance group, to those who just don't know what they want to study yet?
It's okay. So that's my very first, it's okay. For 18 years, students have been very structured in their education. Okay, there are some opportunities to take electives of things that students might be interested in, but somebody might be interested in something that we don't offer an elective for. So they might have had a pretty narrow exposure to things outside of a traditional school setting. And all of a sudden you graduate in June and, it's like, oh, well, you can go be whatever you want to be. And students are like, how do I make that choice? So it is okay if you don't know what you want to be. I would say from personal experience, I did not graduate from high school wanting to be a high school counselor. That was, not my plan. It was not on my radar. So life is not always a straight line. Like you said, for some students say, I want to be a doctor, and they go and they be a doctor. Other students say, I want to study neuroscience, and that could turn into political science, which could turn into English. And, you're going to college. You will be exposed to different classes, different people, and certainly, careers and opportunities that you didn't even know existed in high school. So it is okay if you didn't know what you want to do. That's fine.
And I agree too, because I have a degree in marketing and sales, and I don't use that here, and I realized that I didn't want it, and then I went back and became a teacher. So I totally get it. Good. So can we go to the next question, please? Thank you. How do you help seniors guide their future? What are some of the things the guidance department does?
So again, I'll kind of touch base with things that we're doing today with some of our sophomores, is starting to do some career interest inventories, career interest profiles, just trying to get students to start thinking about some of the skills that they have and the interests they have, how that can play into possible career opportunities, and then how that could link into education. So if you can hone in on some things that sound interesting, you know, it could be very different things, but if you can say something, you know what, that sounds interesting, what would I need to do to be a botanist? And then you start to kind of, it's just to get those thoughts flowing. Again, when you go through college or you choose a career path, you know, there are different opportunities that will come during your lifetime. So it's not, you can, I guess it's hope for the best, plan for the worst, but you know, you certainly plan for your future. But
the future is fluid.
The future is fluid, perfect, yes.
And you know, and I think our seniors need to know, if becoming a nurse wasn't what he or she wanted, it's okay. You can change and do something else.
Absolutely.
Which is great.
Absolutely. And I think we have many parents who are in school right now and who have had midlife career changes. You know, we hear it all the time. So there's no, I guess, if for a student, don't feel like you're stuck, because we do have a lot of seniors that graduated last year who have gone to college who are now contacting us for transcripts to be sent to different schools, maybe to be sent to AUK, who are reevaluating their circumstances and who have said, you know what, this isn't for me. That's okay. That is okay. And it's better to go ahead and make that decision and say, you know what, I need to reevaluate and see what works for me. Everybody has their own journey. And I think
fully agree.
It's
from experience.
I think it's hard because a lot of times students get, you know, and it's common, you get caught up in the flurry of it and you get caught up in, you feel like everybody else around you is doing a certain thing and you have to do that same. I guess I really encourage students to make it your own journey, and it's okay. What, you know, you're gonna, if you find something you want to do in life or a career path you want to follow, even if it maybe doesn't include college or there's a different way to get there, it's okay.
And that's a great segue for our next question. And coincidentally, this morning I was, chatting with a parent about just certain things, and the topic came up that sometimes college isn't right for our seniors. And you know what, Julie? That's really great too. So what advice do we give to our students who just say, you know what, college isn't right for me?
So and you're 100% correct. So I am always a proponent in continued education in some way, shape, or form. So if a student says college isn't right for me, one, I would say, always know that might be true at this moment, but 5 years down the road, there could be a career that comes across your door and you might find you need college education to further yourself in that career. So I would say never, but certainly there are all kinds of different opportunities. A lot of students don't realize, so we have students that go to CTEC for career and technical education.
Love that program.
Well, OU BOCES, which has the CTEC program, also offers adult education. So many of the CTEC programs are also offered in the evening for adults. So our high school graduates can take advantage of that. So if there's a student who's like, maybe I want to be, get into HVAC or get into plumbing.
Plumbing, right.
A student can take a class to see what they feel like. And it's not, you're talking maybe $500 as compared to thousands of dollars if you're going to college. Certainly different career opportunities. We did give seniors, when we did go in and talk this year about, colleges and post-graduation planning, we included more non-college opportunities for students because we recognize the fact that college isn't for everybody. And but I'm a big proponent of continued education.
Me too.
No matter what it is.
And I think continued education has different looks. It doesn't
100%.
have to read blank university.
Yes.
It reads OU BOCES. It reads some, a trade school, Lincoln Tech.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic.
100%.
A third area we need to talk about is those, our students who choose the military. What do we say down there? I know we have Mr. Kratchy always gives the ASVAB,
Sure.
which is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test.
Correct.
What's that, and how does that help our students?
So in the ASVAB, yes, the military does use that to help place students in careers that are appropriate to them, career fields. But students can take it just to find out kind of some of their strengths and weaknesses. In addition to, something similar to like on an SAT, your English, your general math, there are also questions on the ASVAB about mechanical aptitude, electronical aptitude, kind of more like a shop hands-on aptitude. So you can see maybe where your aptitudes lie. So again, the military does use it, but it can be great information for students if they don't know what they want to do, to get some feedback on what some of their aptitudes are.
And I think if I'm looking for, in addition to great college tips today, I think a theme that's coming out of our conversation, and moms and dads need to hear this, and our students are here too, is end of day, if you know what you want to do, fantastic. But equally fantastic is if you don't know what you want to do, that's great too.
It's okay. It's okay. And there are a lot of it, but your counselor we have tons of information that we can share with students on different opportunities and options. For students who say, well, I do want to go to college, but I don't know what I want to do yet. I often recommend community college as an option.
Absolutely.
Certainly you can
And
save a lot of money.
too.
Exactly. You can save a lot of money,
Yeah.
and you get to take, no matter if you went to SUNY Orange, SUNY Rockland, you would take the same general education requirements that all of the SUNYs require. So, and even schools outside of the SUNY system, but if you go to one of our SUNY community colleges and earn an associate's degree, those credits will transfer to any of the four-year SUNYs, and you will save a lot of money, and along the way, get a chance to experience different things. And so maybe you go into your junior year of college with a more focused intent.
And that's the beauty of a community college. You can take so many different things, and then you find that niche that you want to ultimately be in.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So the video production crew wants me to ask this question, and it is: were you ready for life after high school?
So it was funny because I actually had the script beforehand, and I mentioned it at lunch. And with the guidance counselors and the psychologists.
They always give me one final question to
and we
ask.
all laughed, and we all said, so life has a funny way of throwing things at you that you don't expect or plan for. So I think if you go into life being open, being willing to experience different things, maybe have a sense of adventure, be willing to learn, continue to learn, be willing to grow. I think that's huge. You and I know we have professional development, continued education.
Yep.
I certainly, learn new things every day about students and working with students. So I think no matter what your path is, that having those, having the right attitude it will take you a long way. For students, one of the things that we've seen and employers have seen, showing up on time.
Yeah.
So being reliable, being respectful, being responsible, punctual. Those are things that will take you a long way.
Absolutely.
And
I agree.
people will, if they see you're willing to put effort in, opportunities will come your way.
Yeah.
So it's and you never know what that's going to be.
No. And that's actually, although it gives you anxiety, I think it's also exciting too, because you don't know what's coming as well. So that unknown can be exciting at times.
It can be exciting.
Absolutely.
It can be exciting. So was I ready for? Could I have ever predicted? Where I would end up? Absolutely not. I never could have predicted.
Me neither. I have to be honest. I did that.
So it's and we'll still figure out our next chapter as it comes along.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank Julie for being with us today on another episode of School Talk. And don't forget, Warwick, to follow Warwick Valley Television on our YouTube channel. Until next time, Warwick, I'm Nick DeLeo. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here, enjoy the holiday season.